All right, in this episode, we talk about taking protein before you go to sleep.
And Clay's pitching mechanics.
See us, Steve. Go down here at the @Top Velocity hashtag Pitch Your Tips Show, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat @Top Velocity hashtag Pitch Your Tips hashtag Baseball Tips. Ask your question, answer on the show. You know, we are talking a lot about the Pocket Radar. If you don't have the Pocket Radar, they give us a great deal. It's something we use heavily with our programs. Like I've said before, we promote this as a measuring tool to go with the program with the 3X and 2X programs with all the med throws and target throws. It's a great place that we can actually push our speeds and not have to worry about torques on the arm because we're in low stress throws and we need to measure to know where we are and what progress we're making and how mechanics are working and not working against us. So if you have the programs, I highly recommend this. If you do, use the coupon code at pocketradar.com, TOPVELO, TOPVELO. This radar is as good as anyone out there. And it's very affordable and it's very convenient to carry around. And we're making a big part of the show. So go out there and get one with the 2X and 3X programs. 2X, 3X camps are coming up or there's already in full effect. The summer's gonna be big, so book soon. We did have a price increase. It's because the online course is now part of it. It's been beta up to now. And it's a great thing to have following the camps because it allows you to get back through and refresh. And it constantly makes you feel like, hey, I can go back to the camp again and kind of get all the stuff I learned right out of it, and that's what that online course is for, and that's now included, which is pretty awesome. And that's $1,000 value right there. All right, so what's the question for today? Clay asked, can you take a look at this, please? I'm at 14 months now since TJ surgery. Clay, we actually broke your mechanics down already, and we were doing it again because I messed up on the video.
Way to go, Brent.
So, I know your mechanics really well at this point. You really load well out of your back leg well. You just want to reach the front foot and put you into a good stride length. But it's like once you get linear in your back leg, you want to reach the front foot. There's a lack of force production coming out of the back leg. So when you go into front foot, you start into trunk tilt early. So it's not early trunk rotation. So I'll use this moment to talk about the two movements of the trunk. There's a rotational movement of the trunk and a forward linear tilt of the trunk. Okay, high velocity pitchers typically separate, which is the rotational component, and then they move into forward trunk tilts. More forward trunk tilts, the more linear, the more time behind the ball, the healthier it is for the arm. The thing is you're staying closed really well. You're hitting front foot, you're really closed. The problem is your hip isn't through. But because your hip's not through, instead of you waiting to transfer the energy, you have to go out and create the energy. So you kind of force into trunk, not early trunk tilt, you first force into early trunk or trunk rotation, you force into early trunk tilt. That's overcompensation. And it's because you just don't have separation at front foot. There's a very poor lack of, I would say separation. I think when you're talking more tilts, there's just, because you hold so long, but you're still drifting forward. So there's a lack of torque. Let's just put it that way.
Connection, right?
Yeah, connection. So there's a lack of torque. And you know, it's typical with the pitching delivery. There's several components going off at one time that if you have completely none of one, but a lot of the other, it can make things look very different. But same thing's happening. It's just not torque. It's not connected, which I think that's probably better. It's a better way of saying it, like Steve said. It's not connected. It's you're waiting, things are separating, but you've already transferred energy, so you're going to have a loss in that transfer of energy, and that's that lack of connection. Okay, if you were connected, you'd have hit front foot, and you wouldn't have transferred forward until the hips went through, and you felt the torque, and you allowed that to launch you into rotation and into your torques, into your linear tilts. Okay, so you're failing in the one component, which is getting force production through the leg, and you countering that into not allowing trunk tilt to go early, so that all that energy catapults forward and unloads and unleashes. Okay, so you're almost there. I think that's pretty much what it is. You're almost there. We just need force through, and if you get that force through, this is going to work for you. So get more force back up. We were talking too. I think you're a 27-inch vertical jump guy. I'm just feeling that. Tell me if I'm wrong. It tells me you don't need a considerable more power, even though power can never have enough. But I think we could get you using your back leg earlier and getting more force out of it to make this work better before you really have to build a lot of leg power. But I could be wrong. If your vertical jump is less than 27, I'm a little wrong. If it's more than 27, I was right. Okay, so let us know how that is, and that's going to be key for you to get this working and everything transferring.
Yeah, Clay, sorry to hear about the Tommy John, man. That sucks. But yeah, like Brent was saying, now I'm thinking about it too. I'm almost thinking that it's like you're not leading with the hip to get hip to shoulder separation. So like when you're kicking that leg out and you're getting so forward here, you're not getting the force production and getting this hip to shoot through and keep everything loaded back. So you're landing all the way out on the front leg, and then the hip's not coming through, so you can't, like Brent's saying, torque it as well, and then it just turns into everything on the front side and firing the arm. So correct me if I'm wrong, it's almost like he's firing the piston, like if the hips are the pistons, he's firing just one piston on the left side and not getting...
I mean, does he even get front leg extension?
Yeah, he got front leg extension.
Okay, so he's talking about the analogy of, like in a car, more like this. Pistons fire up and down in the car, and they rotate the drive shaft. So the drive shaft is a cylinder, and it's on the pistons are connected to the outside of the cylinder, and when one piston goes up, the other one goes down. That starts rotation, and all they have to do is go up and down to create rotation. So two pistons driving both sides of the cylinder is more effective in generating speeds, and we can relate that to the back leg drive and front leg drive. The back leg piston driving the back hip through, the front leg piston driving the front hip back. Well, you have more just front leg coming back, so you really just have one piston working for you. So if you had both pistons firing, it just would be more explosive.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm trying to say. But also on the last one, I was also saying you look like a guy who's got, judging by your mechanics, it looked like pretty good mobility, something that we'd have to measure out. Like Brent was saying about the power production around like a 27-inch vertical jump. And then, oh God, what was the last one? The limb length. You look like a guy who's got, good limb length. So I think that would be the biggest thing for you is just learning how to fire that other piston, stay back, and create more torque. And you're in the right spot, man. Overall, I think you're in a good place. You just need to learn how to get that lead with that right hip, more force production from the back leg, stay separated and not let everything drift so far forward so you can get more torque.
Good question. Next question. Nate Butler asks, since growth recovery happens during sleep, would it be wise to get a lot of protein in right before bed? Problem with protein before bed is protein supposedly makes you alert. Okay, carbohydrates typically calm you down. There is bodybuilders and these are bodybuilders, not athletes, but they know a lot about recovery. They would wake themselves up in the middle of the night. Actually, some Olympic lifters I've heard have done that. Clove Cove we've talked about. So the problem is with waking up in the middle of the night is you disrupt sleep. So I believe sleep is as important as amino acids or protein to stimulate growth hormone and testosterone. They kind of go hand in hand, but I wouldn't want to disrupt one to get the other, or vice versa. So I would want to try to make sure I get enough sleep, because REM is the very end of our sleep, and they say if you go to bed too late, by the time you move into REM, the sun could be coming up, light comes in, and that disrupts your REM, and that's going to affect how much growth hormone is produced. So, they say 2 hours before, or 1 hour before 12 is 2 hours after 12, so going to bed early. And like I've said, I find that most college guys or high school guys would benefit more from getting better sleep patterns than eating protein as far as supporting your hormonal production. So get your sleep patterns down. It's called circadian rhythms. Get your circadian rhythms down, and then what you should supplement at night, and I was talking about this earlier too, is protein late at night when your digestive system is not really activated would cause a problem, because protein really is hard to break down, fires off a lot of gas, right? We
farting in our sleep.
We fart in our sleep, it keeps us
my
up.
Girlfriend's not happy with it.
So we want to cut down on that, but at the same time too, that tells you your stomach's agitated, you're probably not sleeping as well. So I wouldn't want to take protein, things I have to digest. Pre-digested proteins are amino acids. I would want to do amino acids, and specifically the ones that support hormonal production. Support the immune system, glutamine, growth hormone production, all the enes, the arginine, ornithine,
Leucine.
Leucine, is it leucine, lysine? And ornithine, whatever. Just look them up. And I would take those. I would want to take more pre-digested proteins. And I don't know, that's my thing. I would take more pre-digested proteins to really support that. Anything you want to add?
Yeah, I think Brent makes a really good point with if you're taking it right before you go to bed, it can disrupt your sleep patterns. And as Brent was describing, sleep is such a huge part for recovery, for everything. You're gonna have better mood, better recovery, better brain function, better everything. So sleep is extremely important. That being said, before bed, if you're gonna have a meal, it wouldn't be specifically before bed. Something like maybe 2 hours before you go to bed, get in like a good meal of protein, carbs, fats, stuff like that, so that you can have something in your stomach through while you go to sleep. And I was even reading that some of that can help you get better sleep if you're getting it in 2 hours before. But also another protein, that if you're gonna have protein before bed, casein protein is huge before going to bed. It's a harder protein for your stomach to break down, so your stomach can kind of feed on it throughout the night. But again, have it like 2 hours before you go to bed. And a great way to do it is like cottage cheese. Like cottage cheese is one of like the purest forms of casein you can get, and that way you're not having like a protein shake or something before. You're getting it from a natural source.
Yeah, and the one thing about taking it in like a cottage cheese, the protein is more live, so it has more probiotics and enzymes that help us break it down, so it should assimilate better. Also too, I believe in probiotics. Probiotics, I think, should be taken all the time. I mean, later in life it seems more relevant, but I think you should be taking probiotics with a lot of strands, and billions, hundreds of billions of those strands, and that'll help you assimilate that, because you can put all the food in your body you want, in your digestive tract you want. You can't assimilate it; it just goes out. You don't even use it. You think you're getting nutrients, and you're not.
Yeah. So, like we're saying, get your proteins all your food pretty much from whole foods. Don't think of it as so much as I need to take like a protein shake before bed or something like that, and eat 2 to 3 hours before you go to bed, so that your body isn't trying to do whatever it's doing, so you're messing up your sleep patterns, because sleep's really important.
Cool. All right, good question. If you have a question, go to Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat at Top Velocity, hashtag pitch tips, hashtag baseball tips. Ask your question, we answer on the show. 2X, 3X camps, get them booked now. As well, go out and use that Top Velo discount code, 10% off, pocketradar.com. See you on the next episode.